Hey, this is PJ with CLK Supplies, and welcome back to another episode of the vlog. We have a couple special guests here. You guys have probably seen them before, both Tanner, Brian. Thanks for coming back.
Yep.
It's been a little while, but here we are.
It's been a quick minute, yeah.
How has things been for you guys this past couple months?
Go ahead.
Still busy.
Still busy. Still wearing masks, wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Being precautious.
Yeah. Okay, how has haircuts been going for you guys? Pretty good?
Yeah.
I do my own.
We're doing good. We were going to ask you the same question.
Right? I mean, yeah, mine's definitely getting a little long. Right? A little long, but hopefully the lines are still so long at the haircut places. It's going to may take another week or so before I can get in.
They're probably making some mass money right now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So, perfect. So, is what I wanted to kind of talk about. So, about a week ago, my dishwasher quit working. And I needed to call a repair person out to figure out if it could be fixed or if I needed to get a new one. And while I started calling and trying to figure out and talking to people, it really brought up a good point. You know, I mean, I've never been on the other side of a locksmithing phone call trying to either get, you know, my house rekeyed, business rekeyed, you know, get my car unlocked, that kind of stuff. And it really got me thinking as I was calling these places up on what you guys do to close the deal, right? So people are calling you up. Most of the time, it's not going to be under the greatest circumstances, right? When locks need to be rekeyed or you're locked out of your house or car.
Right.
And I wanted to get your guys' opinion and input on a few different questions. And you guys definitely, between you, have a couple decades of experience. Yeah. So thank you guys. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So what do you guys do when you answer the phone and you make the customer feel like they've called the right place?
Who's jumping on first?
Yeah. Tanner, you want to
go first?
Okay.
Make sure they called the right place. You answer it politely. You stay calm. You kind of listen to, you know, their tone of voice. You know, is it an emergency? You feel for the customer and make the customer aware that, you know, you do care that they're calling you. You want their work. You want the job, and you basically just, I don't know how to explain it, but you just let them know. You know, you'll definitely take care of them, whatever their needs and wants are.
You kind of act interested?
Interested. You don't act like you're you know, they're putting you off by you having to answer the phone, even though, you know, you got a drill in your hand and you're putting a doorknob on or whatever. It's still about how you talk to the customer, how calm, and you don't want to make them sound like you're trying to rush them. Basically, that's kind of what I got. What do you got?
Okay.
It just all depends how, because when the phone rings, tone of voice, whether it's a younger person, older person, you kind of go off the tone that you hear first. Plus, is that anxiety in the back of their voice, and are they frustrated? Are they upset? There's so many factors you're looking for that you're just trying to get off the phone. Probably an example, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're asleep typically, and you hear somebody crying in the phone. And it's like, okay, I need to just take a deep breath. What's going on? And whether it's a domestic, they're trying to lock somebody out, somebody just stole their car keys or stole their purse, they're maybe at the casino. There's so many factors. Because all you get is, I need car keys made, and how much? Well, then you start out, well, I need to know year, make, and model. I just need car keys. Get out here, I need car keys. How much? Well, I need year, make, and model.
Okay.
And then next thing, it's an '02 Ford. And they're like, okay, well, that's a chipped key. So I bring that up first. Hey, that is a chipped key, so I got to get a key made, got to program it. And then you tell them the price, and then they just start screaming at you, oh my God, highway robbery. And then you have to understand it's after hours, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I got to do this, and try to explain it real quick.
Try to walk it through. And
just a little bit, try to bring them down a little bit.
Now, how hard is it at 2 a.m. to kind of act like, so like when I was calling these appliance repairmen, I found myself curious when I was talking to them. I was like, does this guy sound like he wants to actually come out to my house? Right? knowing that if he made me feel like he was going to come out to my house, then he's probably going to do a better job.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so how do you let the customer know, or potential customer know, that like you want to serve them, you want to help them?
Yeah, it's basically just listening to the customer, not interrupting them. Let the customer tell you, their whole story about what's going on. Listen to them first. Don't interrupt them, and then ask a couple quick questions. But you don't want to seem skittish, like, well, yeah, we might be able to fix that, but I'm not really sure. It's just about the questions you ask and the tone of your voice, and if you're quick and fast and, well, yeah, we can fix that, really quick, they're probably going to call somebody else. But if you do stay calm and your tone of voice.
Okay. So I guess so you're saying kind of tone of voice, like Brian, sounds like you try to really reassure them of what's going on and what the process entails.
And it's the same factors, right? To get to that certain point, and they're like, okay, well, how soon can you be out here? Well, I've probably looking around this time. Well, what do you mean? I need done. Well, you got to understand, I'm the only one on call. It's Sunday afternoon, and I've already got 2 more calls, or I'm in the middle of this call, and I got maybe 30 more minutes, and it's about a 20-minute drive to you, so I'll be with you within the hour.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's...
Okay.
And then there's times where it's, hey, is this a good phone number? Because I'm in a business right now. This is what I can ballpark you, but I got to double check something on this vehicle. Because as some vehicles, certain Fords, lost keys, you got to program 2 keys. Sometimes you can trick it.
Yeah.
Mazdas, you got to do the same thing.
Okay, so you know what?
So you just got to double check on your pricing a little bit. Or you tell them, hey, this is what it should approximately be. But if you give me about 30 minutes, I will call you back, because I'm sure you're going to be calling around, and then I can have a guarantee on this.
Okay, well, so that brings me into the next question, right? Which is price. I know you guys aren't the cheapest, right?
Price varies.
Right?
Yeah.
At the same time, so it's one thing when a customer calls in, you make them feel, like you're interested in their job, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to price, obviously, typically when people are calling for whatever reason, their price is something they're interested in. It may not be the deciding factor, but it's definitely, somewhere on that spectrum, depending on who they are.
Yeah.
At what point are you guys bringing in the price, and how are you guys dealing with price resistance? Meaning, you quote them $50 to do it, and they're like, well, I just called, Joe or Bob, right? And, he'll do it for $30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it depends on, just like I said, the age of the person, by the tone of voice, because you can tell if it's an elderly person. You can tell if it's a younger person. So I'm not feeling them out. So okay, it's an older person, so they're going to have more money. I'm not looking at it that way, because it's all the same price all around.
Sure.
But then you get so if such and such Joe Bob's going to do it for $35, you might want to double check, make sure he's licensed and type thing.
Do your
because
homework.
There's a lot of fly-by-nights. They just come through town for 6-8 months, and they're undercharging big time, but they're not going to be there when something happens with that lock or whatever they just did.
Sure.
There's a few where an 03 Honda last summer. Lady calls me on a Saturday morning. Hey, this is what I got going on. I had this locksmith out on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And he still hasn't gotten my key made for my Honda and programmed. And I'm aware it's a chipped key. What can you do? And I said, unfortunately, what company was it? Because that's going to tell me what did they possibly do, and this is what it normally is, but there might be more involved, because they might have damaged stuff. And it's a bigger job, and ignition might have to be replaced.
Sure.
And once I fully got out there and then re-asked some questions, she had a 2-key system, because 2 years earlier, her ignition had been replaced.
Gotcha.
So now I'm getting more factors out of her.
Okay.
Once I'm on scene.
Okay.
So
asking your customers, if they'd kindly leave a review on Yelp or Google. Reviews go a long way, especially nowadays. People do their homework. They look at reviews. My wife looks at reviews. It's a lot about reviews nowadays. Everything's online. Pop in Country Lock and Key, look at the reviews. It's That's what it is. We're professionals as far as quoting out customers. You're always going to have a customer that doesn't like your price, and it's hard to compete with the one-man bands, where they don't actually have physical locations where if your key they cut doesn't work, you can't take it into a shop. They'd have to come out to you, charge you another service call to come out. Quoting's difficult, always has been, I believe always will be. Every phone call I take is a different phone call. No phone calls are the same, other than, hey, come out and lock my car, I don't care how much it costs. Those are the phone calls you want, but you don't want to go out there and gouge them either, because you're going to get a bad review on there.
But then you show up on the call and it turns into a need to make keys. Get those all the time. So I always ask, so where are the keys? And then that's where it goes the next step. Well, I'm not sure. They might be in the trunk, but I'm not sure because I can't see them in the car.
Okay, I think that's a great point you just brought up there.
Okay, so this is what my price is to show up for the vehicle unlock. If the keys aren't there, it'll be this additional.
Okay.
And that's figuring in my trip out already.
Okay, so you're just kind of preparing yourself, right?
Yeah, because you never know.
You're kind of walking them through.
Usually they'll say, they're hanging right in the ignition. I can see them.
Yeah. Okay.
I just had one 2 weeks ago. Gets sent out from a roadside company.
Yep.
Make keys on a Dodge. Called the customer. Told them, yep, I know it's a chip key. Went through all that. They're like, fine. How soon can you be here? Said I'll be on my way in about 20 minutes. Got there. Called her up. Walk up to the vehicle to unlock it, just get started. They're hanging in the ignition. She had no idea.
Oh, so that was like the reverse. That was like
totally
a reverse.
Totally the reverse.
So let's say someone calls up for you to rekey their house, right? You go through, figure out exactly how much it's going to be, and you tell them, let's just say $100.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's just too much.
Highway robbery.
Highway robbery, whatever it may be. Now, this is a point where a lot of guys, especially if they're new in the business, you guys have answered a lot of phone calls, and I know you guys aren't the cheapest.
Right.
What do you just say, okay, I'm sorry, call us back if you need us? Do you ever lower the price?
We don't really lower the price. We just assure them that they're calling the right company, and we will get out there and take care of them the professional way. We don't ask them if they, hey, I got another guy who'll do it for $60. That's great. If he'll do it for $60, that's incredible. I just letting you know, we have multiple vans. We can definitely get out there right away, get you taken care of professionally. I don't try to bad talk whoever did quote them a lower price. You never know who that is.
Better take the higher road.
You just assure them that we are a little higher, but we are professionals. We have several vans, we have several locations, and we're known in the community.
So you're saying that you have your pricing that you stick to be consistent.
Absolutely.
And if someone says it's too much, the amount of times you guys will lower it doesn't really exist. Is what you're saying.
It doesn't lower it. You always get that because you start a chain reaction when you start lowering it, and then the neighbor calls, or the guy across the street, or his cousin. He needs that done. Oh, you guys did this for my cousin for this price. Next thing you know, you're doing them all for a lower price, and you're not in business to just break even or lose money. You're in business to make money and hire the right guys for your team.
Now, is it tempting ever? Is it ever like it's slow? It's do you guys at least ever just get tempted to be like, man,
No.
I don't.
Okay. I have a huge heart,
especially when it's after hours and you're on commission. That kind of falls into play too, but then in the same aspect, if what you asked over the phone seems like it's going to be a bigger job and you show up and it's less, I do drop the price down.
Yeah.
No different.
Sure.
Just like I had over the weekend.
Right. Showed
up to make car keys. And then from the point of getting off the phone to showing up, I'd ask some basic questions because I usually say, well, hey, by chance, do you have just an unlock key? Because of course it's a Ford.
Sure.
It's chipped. By the time I showed up, they actually found a mechanical key. They worked everything.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that brought the price down.
Yeah.
For me having to make a key. And they were tickled pink.
And we ballpark our prices. We're a roundabout ballpark where it could be $20 difference, $30 difference. Yeah. And customers are excited. They're happy when you're like, hey, it's less than what we quoted you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, that's a great point. So
and you always because you don't know what you're really showing up to until you're there.
Okay, so you just kind of
So
give them a
standard
range.
rekey could turn into, I've never been to this business before. And they say, yeah, the locksmith I use, I can't get a hold of them, and I need this done today.
Okay.
Oh, so by chance, this, and this, or it's a higher end type of building
Okay.
of what they sell, so there might probably not going to be on a Y1 or be on your SC1 keyways, most standard SC4s. They might be on Primus or something else. And,
Yeah, that is true.
And
I mean,
then
if
you
you-
show up and go, oh, unfortunately, I got a small problem. I don't have this keyway because it's restricted through such and such. I know his keyway, and he's the only one that does this around here.
Okay. Sure.
And they say, yeah, that's who I can't get a hold of. So unfortunately, I've got to change out these mortise cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
So it went from this price to about $6 more because I have to put new ones on and swap over.
Okay.
And they're usually fine because they need it done. But I'm not trying to come across as I'm switch baiting them. You know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's
so
how
it's
they
like
come
giving
across.
that kind of
It's
variance.
just, yeah. I mean, it's like, then you always got to, hey, as soon as we show up, we do a quick walk around, and then I can fully tell you, but this is approximately usually what it runs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I
stuff.
definitely remember that. I mean, when I used to do like rekeys and maybe, they told you there's, 2 doors and there's 2 locks and you get there and there's
they're
double-sided deadbolts.
Exactly what I had yesterday.
Entry knobs on it, right?
Brian,
and so
you're
if you told them,
Yeah.
hey, it'd be $100 to do that,
Yeah.
well, because you thought you were doing 2 rekeys instead of 6,
Yeah.
right? That's a problem. Okay, so that makes sense. So given
Same
that,
thing like I had yesterday. All of his deadbolts were double-sided. And he was even straight up with the dispatchers. Hey, this is just an approximate. I'm not sure. I just moved into this house. Yeah. So they told me, oh, you're looking between 10 and 12 locks, Brian. I show up and it's 18.
wow.
As soon as I did my quick walk around, boom, boom, and things were keyed different. Yeah, it's all quick set Titans with a couple standard quick sets. I can key them all the same.
Okay.
Another thing we kind of started doing too is our dispatch now says tech will assess and give you an accurate price. Once we get there, they'll give you a roundabout ballpark. Once we get there, we walk through the situation with the customer before we start pulling any locks off. Reassure them this is what you were quoted. This is what we're coming up with.
Okay.
Sometimes they match, sometimes they don't. We explain to the customer what the additional prices are. They have no problem with it. We notice something broken or not aligned that they had no idea about. We fix it. Customers are happy.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So last question for you guys to kind of take it full circle here, and that is time sensitivity, right? I mean, I think it's safe to say that when someone's calling and they need their business rekeyed, maybe an employee was let go or has changed ownership or there's something going on that makes them not want to do that, whether it's a home rekey for same type of reasons, locked out of the car, lost keys, kind of whatever it is. I'd say most of the work that locksmiths do is time sensitive. What do you do when you realize, so you tell the customer, you ask them, so at some point time's brought up, right? Like when you need this done by, whatever it may be. What do you do when you want to do the job, you'll do a really great job, but your schedule's kind of booked? How do you manage that situation? Something that we've always, said for years is, it's either feast or famine, right? Either your phone's ringing off the hook or it's not ringing at all, right?
Right.
So what do you do?
What do you do?
Yeah, what are do you have any strategies for guys when their schedule's booked, their phone's still ringing, they don't want to just, they've worked hard to get that phone call and get that reputation to do the work.
Right. First of all, I'll go to as far as being on call. You could be backed up 5 or 6 calls, and then you get that call that baby's locked in the car. Of course, that always comes number one as far as baby's locked in the car. But the sheriff is here. We need these locks changed right away. And I've got other people that are like, oh yeah, just come out whenever. Just come out, rekey my locks. Yeah, I'm locked out of my car, but it's in the driveway. I ain't going anywhere today. So I make a quick phone call to my calls that I do have on the schedule. Ask them, hey, I do have an emergency that just came up. I need to help some people. Is there any way I can get to you more around this time? Yes, absolutely, no problem. 99% of the time, those customers understand and have no problem. As long as you show up that day and get the job done, they have no issues. And it's just about how to talk to the customers and say, hey, I just had an emergency come up. Not a personal emergency, but a business emergency that I need to take care of. and they're usually okay with it.
Okay, so to recap real quick to make sure I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying that when you have 5-6 jobs lined up, let's say maybe your day's booked on paper.
Okay.
I hear you saying is that you kind of know which jobs aren't like, maybe it's scheduled for 2 o'clock today, but it could be scheduled for 2 o'clock tomorrow, or maybe 4 o'clock today.
Yeah.
And so you knowing that, you'll go ahead and try to shuffle your schedule around so you can help the person that has the immediate need and still make sure the appointment you have that you had at 2 is still happy.
Absolutely.
So mentally, I mean, so you have a lot, you're juggling around.
You do.
Right?
You remember, you're halfway human. You can kind of remember half the conversations you were talking about with the customers that you had scheduled for that day. Well, Joe Blow over here, he has a latch that's a little sticky. He said it's been like that for 2 years. Just come whenever. Well, I know I can call him and say, hey, can I come tomorrow? Julie, she's lost the keys to her car, but it's just her summer car and it's winter, so she's not no big deal. So you kind of remember and have all your notes written down from the jobs that you did take, and you just start moving them aside, calling those customers, and usually everything's good.
Okay.
Biggest thing is remembering putting a little buffer time in between each. Because you're out in the vehicle, you're out on the road. I might have to go to the top of Mount Spokane at the ski lodge during the middle of winter to go make keys. So you might have to chain up and all that. So you got all these factors. And where am I going out in the middle of nowhere? Where's restroom at? Where's this? Where's that? You got to put all these little factors into play.
Sure.
Type thing.
Locksmithing is really the only service that doesn't get the dish companies or the cable companies schedule where they
4 to 6 hours.
Just did it this week. Your technician will be there from anywhere from 12 o'clock to 6 p.m. They will call you when they are getting close, and that's how they schedule the jobs. Yeah. I think in bigger cities, Locksmiths, actually schedule like that. We try to jump on it either that day or the next day. We aren't trying to schedule out weeks in advance. We have quite a few locksmiths, so we're busting them out. The customers call, we usually can get out there that day.
Yeah, and I think maybe a deadbolt install isn't necessarily a time sensitive, or maybe installing a new alarm lock or something isn't as time sensitive as a business rekey or something like that.
Right, absolutely.
Or obviously lost keys at the grocery store.
Business rekey or divorces where husband or wife or domestic. That always comes first. Domestic stuff, babies.
Sure.
It always comes
first. We'll have to in the future do story time on domestic situations.
But then it's like when you bring that up, that's where at the beginning of that phone call where you hear the person crying or that tone of voice, you're trying to feel them out but not being intrusive on what's really going on either.
Sure.
So you hear it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I've had it where I've had that. I mean, that falls under story time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you hear this and that, and it's like, okay. And then they finally bleep out, it's a domestic. Okay, has law enforcement been out? Mm-hmm. Because I've had phone calls from other locksmiths I know very well. Hey, heads up. I just left this place and all of their locks are sitting at their front porch.
Sure.
Because the guy came running up and started swinging at me.
Yeah.
And I just got the heck out of there and called the cops. I'm not going back for a bit.
Sure.
So you might be getting a call to put all these locks on that I rekeyed and I didn't charge for it.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Absolutely, guys. Well, hey, thank you guys. I hope we've given you guys some really good actionable steps to kind of think through on, just to kind of a recap, make sure when you're talking to the customer that you're making them feel like you want the job, that you're not an annoyance or a nuisance for calling them.
Because the biggest thing is I'm here to help you. But it's not, and it's just like you're saying, it's that tone. You come across blunt to them. Oh, what's the year, make, and model? Da, 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 da. I'm busy. And it's that tone, and it's just, hey, give me just a second. I got some stuff in my hands right now because I'm working on a car, trying to get a broken key out real quick. Mm-hmm. Just bear with me. I don't have something to write with right now. I'm just about a minute. Just bear with me.
Sure.
I'm gonna ask you a couple questions while I'm going back to my vehicle, so I can write this info down. And because I've had customers, hey, it's Hoop Fest, it's Bloomsday, it's certain big events going on, so they already know that it's right off the bat. I'm sure they'll tell me right up, I'm sure you're backed up today. Yeah. Because I can't find any locksmith answering the phones. Okay. You're the only one I've gotten to answer.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm about 6 calls backed up. What can I help you with? I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Because I've had calls where they've come in at 10 in the morning. I'm not getting to them until 8 at night and stuff.
Well, I think it goes to show. I mean,
So-
obviously, however you're talking to the customers, that they're willing to hang on
and
for
that's
you,
it.
right?
That's it.
So-
it's all in the communication
so
and the
it's
tone, and not
communicating,
coming across as you're saying.
Tone. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like you guys are both, you know, you guys know what you guys need to, you know, be profitable, and you guys are, you know, it sounds like you really stick to price. But as far as keeping jobs in mind, of figuring out like how you can maneuver your schedule around to get to the more jobs that need to be done right away,
And
which I'm sure at first
falls under that is you always have to have that little buffer on your time in between, and a little buffer on what you're doing, because it turns into, oh yeah, I've got 6 keys, I need 8 keys, but then you show up and it's in a business. Oh, we've got this, and what about all these interior doors? And it's time consumption even during the weekday, Monday through Friday.
Sure.
Hey, I'm booked up all day. They scheduled me for this. Let me make a phone call. Hey, can somebody take my next job? Because I need about another 40 minutes here. Can I schedule it right now? Or we're going to have to reschedule for all the interior stuff since it just got added since I came here.
Right. Sure.
And it looks like, I'm looking at my schedule, looks like I'm going to be here about this time tomorrow. But there, unfortunately, there's another trip charge.
Sure.
Let me see if I can bump
One
my
job
next one.
could make you be bumping.
Correct.
all
bumping
day
around,
long.
right. And that's a reality of being a locksmith.
Yeah.
Right? That's a reality out there.
Absolutely.
It's all about communication, what it comes down to.
Yep.
And stuff.
As far as I was thinking about, you know, giving breaks to, you know, customers, you know, hey, can't beat that price, giving breaks to them. Like, you know, I don't know any plumbers that want to give you a break when you call them and be like, hey man, you're a little expensive, but you got poop coming out of your shower stall, you know, and everything's backed up, but they're going to give you a break. You don't get any breaks from electricians, you don't get any breaks from plumbers. You know, it's just, people charge what they charge because they're in business to run a good business.
Okay. Well, great, guys. Thank you very much for both coming on here, and thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.